What's up, guys? Dr. Teddy here with BSN, and today we're gonna break down the lateral lunge. This is one of my favorite movements for hip mobility and global hip strength. The lateral lunge can also help to strengthen and prevent groin injuries. This is extremely helpful for lifters, runners, and athletes. The first variation of the lateral lunge that we're gonna go over today is the beginner version, and this is the band-assisted lunge. Now, this version doesn't have to be just for beginners. This is a great variation for warming up the hips. On the band-assisted lunge, you're gonna anchor this band next to something sturdy and step in it. And you get the band assistance from helping to pull me back up out of the lunge step. So I'm gonna step sideways, sit back into my hip. You can drop a straight line down from my butt down to my heel. Now I'm gonna explode out of that lunge position. So we're gonna sit into it and then pop on out. We're gonna allow our chest to come over our knee here and then come out of that lunge. And this sideways or lateral lunge position is where we wanna be, whether we're doing it with band assistance or with weight. So we'll go over that next. But this is the first variation, and I highly recommend using it even just as a warm-up to get your groin stretched out. The second variation of our lateral lunge is gonna be with a goblet hold or any sort of weight hold. And we're doing the same exact movement pattern where I'm stepping to the side, sinking back into my hips and allowing my chest to cave forward a little bit, except the only difference here is we're adding load instead of using a band to assist us. So I'll show you a few of those in real time. I'm gonna hold this weight close to me, sit back into my hips, pause, and then pop out. And the more comfortable we get with this, the faster we can move. Now, just to quickly talk about our foot positioning here, I personally like to keep my toes pointed forward because I don't have the most flexible hips. If you tend to squat with your toes pointed out and that feels good for you in the squat pattern, you might want to point your toes out a little bit here. I would recommend following whatever toe and foot angle and pattern you tend to use for your squat. The third variation of lateral lunge that we're gonna do today is the sliding lateral lunge, and you can use a slide board or a slider setup like we have here. You can use valve slides or a furniture slider at home as well, or maybe even just a towel on a wood floor. I'm gonna use our slide board here, and the difference with the sliding lateral lunge is that instead of stepping into that hip position, I'm slowly squatting down into it, similar to a single leg squat, and I'm letting my other leg slide out. So I want the majority of my weight centered over my leg that's doing the work. So I'm gonna slide back, keep my weight centered over that leg. My other leg comes out to the side. My other leg is pretty much straight. This again is a really great hip and adductor and groin mobility exercise. Sit back into that hip and then pop back up. And I actually did these in my training yesterday with a 55-pound dumbbell. So you can work up to a fairly heavy weight with these as you get more comfortable, and they can turn into a training exercise and not just a mobility exercise. The final variation of the lateral lunge that I want to show you guys today is a bit of a regression in terms of range of motion. So I'm gonna step to a low box, and what that's gonna allow me to do is not have to sit as deeply into my hips. So I've got a 6-inch box here. I'm gonna hold that dumbbell in goblet position, similar to how I did previously. Step to the box, pop right off it. It's much easier for me to sit down with this box raised up from the ground than it would be if my foot was on the ground. And you'll notice when you're not going as deep, it's also easier to keep your chest up. So you can really pop in and out. Give these lateral lunges a try as a warm-up for the next time you squat or as an accessory for one of your leg days. If you guys have any questions about the lateral lunge, please don't hesitate to ask below. And as always, thanks so much for watching.